So it's about 1 week later and the shock already, after the second ride, really has such a poor performance. I mean, it felt weird all the time, just a little bit. Even though when it was dialed in correctly, there is no limit in negative suspension. Like, it's completely, when you dial in the rebound correctly for a nice riding quality, there is no end bumper, I guess, in the shock or something, or at least there's no negative spring travel. So, and now what happened today in the second ride is that the compression is no longer effective. So it had compression damping and it was really nice, so it was effectively helping me pedal up, and now this knob is without any function. And also on top of that, yeah, it's making really strange noises. I don't know what's happening here. So I'm trying to send this back to AliExpress, because yeah, it's obviously rubbish. And but what I want to do is now is I want to take it apart and take a look in what's wrong with the shock and how it's internally built. I already bought a 450-pound RockShox spring for it, and it fits quite perfectly, so it has the same as the original shock, which came with the Bolany. And next step would be disassembling the shock and looking into it. Okay, let's start the disassembly. So, as I told you, measurement of the Bolany and the RockShox are pretty much identical. So, same width, same diameter, and same length. Both of the rotational angles are identical. So it's really just some sort of a knockoff, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe the springs from the same factory. I don't know. But the shock obviously is not, because that's really poor quality. Okay, that's kind of interesting, because when you push the rod inside, there is some sort of like a first travel which is without damping, just a little bit. Like something is loose inside, and this is what gives this harsh sound when you let the rear wheel go down. It just makes like put this rod in really fast for just to let it stroke, and there is something loose inside. I don't know what. So rebound damping is still working pretty nice. I don't know, maybe there's oil in the air or something. Well, I will show you that, you've seen that in the video, we made a video on the trail, that when I hit the rear brake, the wheel just starts bouncing around, like really.
God, this looks horrible, look at that. I can only imagine how bad this is for the wheel set and for traction. And here we have another example, just hitting the rear brake. You see there is no damping at all, just, yeah, That's horrible.
I think this is because there's a little bit of travel here in the shock that's not being damped by the shock itself, so yeah. So somehow there's something wrong with it. I cannot really tell you what now. So let's just start with the disassembly process. And I don't know really where to start, so I just open what comes to my mind. Like, maybe it's a good idea to just release the pressure first. Wow, don't even know if this is to be opened. Oh, this can be opened. So I don't know how to get this ring out. And told me this could be pressed inside if there's no pressure in it. And then you can get rid of the ring. Oh yeah, actually that's true. Nice. Okay, great. So this can be pressed inside. I don't think I can get this ring out without destroying it. Without leaving some marks on the shock. I mean, I want to return it, so I don't want to give them any reason to say that's your fault because you destroyed it. I clearly did open it after it was destroyed, so it's not my fault. And it was no harsh riding. It was just like really easy on it. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe I just open this here first. I don't know. It's 25. So just very slightly put it here between the wooden blocks with very little amount of pressure. I think I need to put at least some masking tape here. Oh, that was easy. It seems like it's open now. Yeah, that's about it. Let's have a look on the oil. So this doesn't look too bad either. Yeah, but this is what gives this strange feeling. When the shock moves out in travel, it just hits this rubber part in there. And this has like just the tiniest little bit of movement possible. Other than that, it's just running against a block. I think you can feel that. I don't know if it's made better on higher quality coil shocks. Never disassembled any coil shock before. But at least from my understanding, it should be equipped with some negative spring or something. Or at least some sort of refined damping. So my first thought was maybe the piston is loose, something like that. So basically, yeah, the oil is being pushed all the way through here and then into that piggyback section, back by the air that's inside this piggyback here, and the compression valve somehow shuts down the back travel, the travel of the oil coming from here when the piston compresses into the piggyback. So therefore it has to be either that the piston is like not tight anymore inside this, either the oil is traveling through the piston without resistance, or this valve is not sealing anymore. That did the trick. Oh, there you go. There you see what's happening. I don't know what the fuck. So there's also loose parts in it. So I don't know. All what's in here is completely disassembled. Shim stack. Some sort of piston is in there, flying around loose. A washer. Yeah, that's what I saw on the mountain bike review forum when someone was opening the shock and he said like there is no thread logger whatsoever anywhere found in the shock. So yeah, I think this could be reworked, reassembled maybe. So I mean, if that's all the problem, then it's actually not big of a deal. But the point is that the constant movement here completely destroyed the thread here. Thread is completely ruined. There is clearly some rest stripped out. Yeah. Okay. So I did not go down the hill with the compression damping closed. If that's what you think, maybe. I was just running it in the open position. Don't know how this can happen. I mean, that's so sad actually, because other than that, it was alright. I mean, not perfect, but alright more or less. And it was not too bad. I mean, the manufacturing quality of the rest of it is really not bad. And the damping and the compression damping really works actually. So I first thought that this seal would maybe not be really tight, but showed that there's no problem. This was dry all the way. I think mostly dry. There was a little bit of grease coming out at the beginning, but that stopped already on the second ride, so no problem with this. Maybe if you just would put in a spring here instead of the rubber parts, then yeah, it would be a nice shock to drive. So let's try to open up this compartment here. Easy, look at that. Okay, so it was way worth getting rid of that. So I can push this out now, I guess. Maybe you need to speak a little bit louder language on that. Yeah. Boom. There we go. Perfect. Disassembled the Bolany shock. This is a free floating moving piston. So when you put air pressure here, this preloads this piston and yeah, makes the oil move back into the shock. So this is assembled here. There is a stack of shims here. So these holes are blocked by it. The stack is like all the bigger ones at first. So once it's on there, it can be turned all the way down, and it's supposed to be tight there. I would never trust this again. Only if it's glued on there. Maybe with some thread locker or Loctite welding agent. And if I tried to reassemble this and make it work somehow, I would need to know the shim stack first. And I think I get this from the mountain bike review page, because someone disassembled the shock.
So as you can see, the correct order of the shims is starting with the biggest shim at the side of the piston and ending with the smallest shim and the washer at the side of the nut.
So I messed around with this assembly for quite some time now, because from the images of the mountain bike review you could not really see in which direction this piston came on, or this valve assembly, and it's just a bypass, I think, and only makes sense if it is done like this, because there's one washer which is a little bit bigger in the middle, which has a slightly bigger bore than the others, and this washer supposedly is sitting over this edge here on the spring, and then this is put firmly against here. So anytime oil wants to come from the piggyback side back into the shock, like flowing from that side to that side down, it needs to pass through here from that side, and there are these big openings which are not blocked by the washer on that side, and the oil is coming straight through there and then pushing away against the spring here. So this allows the oil to fast flow back, because the rebound is then dialed here with this assembly, and there is a pass through the middle of the bore of the piston and here, and the other shim stack here is just like very stiff springs, so when you have it completely closed and there is a big impact, that there is still some flow. So this is the only way it makes sense. And the other side is that oil that comes from the compression side firstly wants to walk through here and go out there, and if this is closed, then this would explode, right? So there's some bypass, so the oil is going high pressure in here and then opening these channels on that side. So this is why there needs to be a shim like that fits perfectly. Okay, I just also disassembled this here just because I was curious. And here I can completely leave them in the right order. So it's quite interesting. I don't know why there is so many different shims and sizes and whatever. They seem to be a little bit corroded. That's what I also saw on the bike review forum. So this is like this. And this is the main piston. Maybe some sort of cast part. No, it's quite heavy. It's basically metal. And then the lower side shim stack. Put that right there. To leave it as it is. And then this here. Okay. Some sort of thick rubber gasket. And that's mainly it. So there's some O-rings in there which seal this movement here. And there's this rubber part which is hollow obviously inside, maybe to give it some sort of characteristics.